I woke up this morning with my inbox being flooded with the news about Venezuela and how Nicolas Maduro and his wife had been captured by a highly tactical operation, a military operation the U.S. conducted overnight. And I started to read into it, and it looked like this operation was supposed to happen about 4 days ago, and they decided to wait because they wanted the weather to be cleared. And in this operation, the things that I just wanted to highlight and boast about were that no military personnel was injured or hurt. This was an extremely highly tactical and smooth operation. They ended up capturing Nicolas Maduro early in the morning. Um, and there's a picture of him you could see allow my producer put up where he's got a get up and he's got blinders on because he's really who knows where he's going. And all the U.S. military equipment was brought back home. None of it was left in Venezuela. Now you have the president of the U.S., President Trump, saying that, hey, we are going to take over Venezuela and hand it off to Maria Corina Machado, who won the Nobel Peace Prize in 2025. I just want to, give you some sobering facts about Venezuela. Venezuela is a country that not just wreaks havoc on its own people, but also its neighboring countries. And I'll tell you a story about how I went to Costa Rica many years ago for vacation and started to engage with some of the people in Costa Rica. And by the way, who were some of the most nicest, most loving people I've ever seen. So Nicolas Maduro, since he's taken office, you have you have one third of the Venezuelan people who've left Venezuela since he's taken office. They're literally fleeing their country. You have Nicolas Maduro, who is extremely corrupt, who is who's run and controlled by the cartels in Venezuela. He was flooding drugs and cartel members into the U.S. and other neighboring countries. He destroyed the Venezuelan economy. It collapsed several times. This is what happened when you have a socialist economic system. It just does not work. People couldn't afford gas prices. They couldn't, even though Venezuela is extremely rich in natural resources, they can't afford gas in Venezuela. They can't afford food. They can't afford medicine. He is now being extradited to New York City, where he's going to be facing all these charges, including human rights violations. And so when I wake up and I'm looking through my Twitter feedback this morning, and I see a tweet from the mayor-elect, excuse me, the mayor. He's not the mayor-elect anymore. He's the mayor of New York City, Zoran Mamdani. Quote: I was briefed this morning on the U.S. military capture of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and his wife, as well as their planned imprisonment in federal custody here in New York City. Unilaterally attacking a sovereign nation is an act of war and a violation of federal and international law. End quote. So here you have a socialist in New York City who supports another socialist. Of course, it does not surprise me. Um, I'm sure Zoran Mamdani is going to give Nicolas Maduro and offer him a seat on the board eventually when he does come over to New York City for the charges he's going to be facing. But I guess to remind people like Zoran Mamdani and the others like Bernie Sanders and the left who hates the current administration, who continues to put out messages that undermine the US, that actually get people more enraged, excuse me. And what they really should be putting out is statistics and factual data like they don't want to talk about all this stuff, right? So here are examples of when Barack Obama took out bin Laden. He took out bin Laden, excuse me. Uh, Bill Clinton, who took out Saddam Hussein. So these are Democratic leaders who took out all these people, and they didn't go through Congress. They decided to just take them out. Jimmy Carter, who took out the Iran hostage rescue. which was unsuccessful. When Obama went for bin Laden, he um, that was yeah, the operation was successful, but you had military people who were injured during that operation. You had military helicopters that were damaged, and we ended up leaving billions of dollars of equipment in Pakistan. Uh, so the simple takeaway is that this actually protects Americans. It stops violence. It enforces the rule of law. And more importantly, it's not just Republicans who have conducted these military drills. Several Democrats have, as I just laid out. But let me tell you this story about how when I was in Venezuela, excuse me, when I was in um, Costa Rica, where they live by the motto of pura vida, which means pure life. They were telling me that, hey, we were considered a third world country, and mainly it was because of Nicolas Maduro, and they hated him. And so it goes to show that when you have a socialist dictator that oversees a country and brings the people of that country to their knees by force and by military tactics, by barbarism, it not just affects that country, but it also affects neighboring countries like a Costa Rica, like I was saying. It affects Argentina. And my wife and I are in that phase of planning our vacation in February, which we usually take once a year. And we usually like to go to a beach resort and just kind of relax. And we were thinking about where to go. And uh, we had come close on going to Aruba, which is very close to Venezuela. And when we were thinking about picking Aruba, we hadn't locked it in, but we're actually going to lock it in today, because now we feel much better about booking our vacation. So uh, we go, honey, tickets are pretty cheap. Looks like we've got a good price here. Let's do Aruba. Let's do Aruba in February when it's the coldest month of the year in New Jersey. And she goes, that's awfully close to Venezuela. I don't know if I'll feel safe. And I said, and I turned to her and I said, give it a few weeks. It looks like Maduro's days are numbered. And we were having this conversation just yesterday, and here we go. This morning we wake up, and I'm like, honey, book that trip. We're going to Aruba. Um, so this is great news that Maduro is taken down. He's no longer the dictator. You're going to have now, like I said earlier, you're going to have um, the Nobel Peace Prize winner of uh, Maria Corina Machado, and the U.S. is going to help her take over Venezuela, like set them up. By the way, which is no surprise. After World War I, World War II, the U.S. and other allies, we took over those countries and we set up deals and situations in the system so this does not happen again, right? So, unfortunately, the Treaty of Versailles after World War I was not the best because we saw that after the Treaty of Versailles, it crippled Germany, it crippled um, other countries like Italy, which ended up making them want to even revolt further, leading to World War II. But we took over those countries. The Allies took over those countries after World War II, and they set up systems so this does not happen. And that's exactly what we're going to do in Venezuela. So this is a great success. I think the Trump administration is kicking off 2026 in just another gear of fashion. Like they are excited. They know they've got a lot to accomplish still. What I want, along with other people, we want to see Venezuela the way we took over Venezuela is the same way we want our military being deployed in these states that are corrupt. predominantly Democratic states that are corrupt because we know there's corruption happening there as well, like Minnesota with the Somalian fraud and daycare center and healthcare frauds. We want that. I think every state should be audited. So thank you for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye now.